This video will provide a high-level overview of the Protected Seas Navigator database, and then transition into a case study. The case study will show how Navigator's area-based regulatory data can be paired with apparent fishing effort data from Global Fishing Watch to contextualize industrial fishing patterns and offer greater insights into what is happening on the water. 10 years ago, Protected Seas set out to fill a significant gap in easily accessible global marine regulatory information. The goal was to create a resource to clearly communicate marine regulations, to enable users to easily understand the rules within marine protected areas and other area-based management tools. The result is Navigator, an open-access resource providing accessible and comprehensive marine regulatory data for over 27,500 area-based management tools, including in the high seas. Protected Seas provides unbiased open-access data that adheres to the FAIR data principles. Navigator's versatility supports diverse applications, from responsible offshore development to conservation planning. For each site in the Navigator database, the legal team applies a standardized, transparent methodology to assess the strength of fishing regulations, the level of fishing protection, or LFP score. The LFP is an analytical score from 1 to 5, based solely on fishing-related regulations. The LFP enables rapid comparison of protection strength across sites, countries, and regions, grounded in the underlying law. One application of the LFP score is for tracking progress toward global targets like 30 by 30. As of December 2025, only 3.3% of the global ocean, 1.2% of the high seas, and 6.7% of national EEZs are currently under high levels of legal protection from fishing, meaning they score 4 or 5 on the LFP scale. There is still much work to be done to reach the 30% target. Navigator also classifies the legal status of 22 fishing types and gears and 15 non-fishing marine activities. Each activity is coded on a standardized regulatory scale: prohibited, restricted, allowed, or unknown. This consistent classification enables scalable spatial analysis, supports direct comparison of regulatory strength, and provides a transparent foundation for indicators like the LFP score. The progress of Navigator's second version, V2, is shown in dark blue on this map. While V1 primarily focused on MPAs, V2 adds other area-based management tools, including other effective conservation measures and fishery management areas. V2 also enhances the data model to include more fishing gears and non-fishing activities, and includes change tracking fields to highlight how regulations and boundaries have evolved. Navigator's data underpins a major study in science. Researchers combined Navigator's regulatory data with Global Fishing Watch data to observe whether highly protected MPAs were limiting industrial fishing as expected by law. The study found little to no industrial fishing inside these areas, indicating that the strongest MPAs are largely effective at restricting industrial fishing. The results of the study inspired us to look at other ways to pair Navigator regulatory data and Global Fishing Watch data to gain insights into industrial fishing behavior. This case study focuses on a region in southern Argentina, where some interesting fishing patterns are observed. Here is the AIS-derived apparent fishing effort from Global Fishing Watch for 2018, brought into ArcGIS Pro, summarized at a 1 square kilometer resolution. The sharp, straight-edged boundaries in the highlighted area suggest the influence of management and jurisdictional boundaries, not natural processes or data artifacts. These patterns indicate that regulations are shaping fishing behavior on the water. Looking at the same year in the Global Fishing Watch platform, those same fishing patterns are also visible. This raises the key question: what management or regulatory areas are driving these visible breaks in fishing activity? Turning on the World Database on Protected Areas layer in Global Fishing Watch shows MPAs in red. It is clear that these MPAs do not explain where fishing effort stops and starts, suggesting that other regulatory or jurisdictional factors are driving the observed patterns. Returning to ArcGIS, we are now zoomed in on the area of interest. When fishery management area data from Navigator is added, the boundary of the permanent closed zone for juvenile hake aligns precisely with several transitions in fishing activity. This alignment indicates that the regulation is measurably affecting where industrial fishing occurs. However, within the hake closure itself, substantial fishing activity is still observed, bounded by very sharp edges. Over 90% of this effort is identified as trawling, which appears contradictory, as trawling is not permitted within the hake closure. So is this fishing activity actually legal? Additional regulatory layers from Navigator intersect this area, providing important context. Reviewing the regulations shows the closure is species-specific, applying to hake trawling, but not to other authorized trawl fisheries, such as shrimp. 2 other commercial shrimp trawling closures are present, shown in purple, along with 16 shrimp fishery management subareas, shown in white. These indicate the observed activity is most likely legal shrimp trawling. To validate this interpretation, media reports from the same period document a temporary closure of the entire hake protection zone to shrimp fishing after elevated hake bycatch was observed. This confirms the fishing activity is consistent with known shrimp fishing operations and management responses in the region. Now, let's examine areas where substantial fishing activity occurs with limited regulatory oversight. This region, often called Mile 201, lies immediately beyond Argentina's exclusive economic zone. It's a major fishing hotspot for Argentine shortfin squid, which overlaps with the migratory range. Because it is outside national jurisdiction, distant water fleets are able to operate intensively beyond Argentina's direct regulatory authority. In January 2026, The Guardian published an article describing how a large industrial fleet targeting squid is operating with minimal regulatory oversight in the Mile 201 region, taking advantage of this governance gap on the high seas. The concentration of fishing effort in this area is so great that the vessel's lights are visible in nighttime satellite imagery. In 2020, China announced high-seas squid fishing moratoriums, including the Southwest Atlantic High-Seas Squid Conservation Area, which is captured as a regulatory area in Navigator, positioned just north of the Mile 201 area. This moratorium area restricts Chinese-flagged vessels from fishing between July 1st and September 30th. However, analysis by Oceana using Global Fishing Watch data found that China's fleet spent little to no time fishing in the moratorium areas in the years prior to their implementation, while fishing effort remained high elsewhere. The closure period also does not overlap with peak squid fishing season, limiting its practical conservation impact. In summary, these examples illustrate the power of combining fishing effort data from Global Fishing Watch with activity-level regulatory data from Navigator. This integration turns maps into evidence, revealing how rules shape fishing behavior, exposing governance gaps, and supporting better decision-making for ocean conservation. For more information about Protected Seas Navigator, please visit navigatormap.org or get in touch by email at info@protectedseas.net. Thank you for watching this video.